Hola YouTube. Estamos en What Remains of Edith Finch y os acordáis que vimos la historia de Molly. Pues bueno, vamos a seguir, ¿no? Aquí hay una... se puede salir por la ventana, pero no sé. Aquí está...
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the
Ya lo
peephole.
hemos visto. Aquí. La mirilla esta. Ya la habíamos mirado en su momento, ¿no? ¿O sí?
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Esto ya nos lo habían dicho la otra vez, ¿no? Vale, pues no somos unos gatos, pero vamos a intentar pasar por aquí.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the
Vale,
past.
pues vamos a entrar en otra habitación.
Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Ah, por eso se convirtió en un gatito, puede ser. Se convirtió en un gatito porque adoptaron una Molly.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Vale. A ver, aquí hay una mirilla. Pues se puede mirar por la mirilla esta.
Her room was like a museum.
Urín.
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Venga.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse
Increíble.
behind.
Se llevan su casa en barco. Qué locura.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Ah, por eso la habitación de Walter estaba la casa esa submarina.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Vale, pues ya nos hemos visto... Ay, a ver, ya está, ¿no? Fuera. ¿Cómo se hace para salir de aquí? Ahora. Nos hemos visto la historia de Odin.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Ok. Otro menos. A ver, tú cierra. Vale. Pues la verdad es que está muy guay. O sea, la manera de explicarte la historia con el cacharrito este, que no recuerdo el nombre, pero vosotros ya sabéis. Aquí una bombona de oxígeno, unos juegos, aquí unas palabras. Ah, vale, son los días de la semana y para lo de las pastillas, para tomar las pastillas.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Dragon Kills Finch. O me queda mucho más épico decir... Mira, built en 1937, Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
¿Qué otra cosa?
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Edith.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Qué bonito.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
¿En serio? Esto es muy, muy sorprendente. Bueno, pues supongo que tenemos que pasar por esta puerta, porque no hay otra opción. LOL. Pelusa rosa. Joder, ¿en serio? Una bañera con la silla para que la señora mayor se sentara.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Sí, ya ves. ¿No se puede abrir aquí? Vale, pues nada. Ah. Un libro. There's a secret in this bathroom. Hay un secreto en el baño por Sven y Edith Finch. Vamos a abrir esto.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
Oh, qué guay. A ver.
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Hostia. Qué guay, tío. La verdad es que está súper guay. Calvin Finch. Born in, no sé, 25 de abril.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
La cámara, Vale. Ahí. Como que hay que seguir por aquí. Milton. Ese es el niño que había desaparecido. Tranquila, prima. Fort Calvin. A ver. Aquí no hay nada para... No. A ver, en el otro lado parece que sí. Ah, mira, esto es para quitar la cinta.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
To Command Center. Al comando central. Vale.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
¡Wey! Una nave espacial. ¡Yuhu! Bueno, un sobre.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Uy. Ah, se está columpiando.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Pues vaya.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Se va a ir, va a coger impulso y...
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Se va a coger impulso y se va a ir a la luna o...
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Uy, uy, uy.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you
Uy,
again!
uy, hostia.
Maybe if the wind hadn't
Casi
picked
que
up,
roza la casa. El tío quiere dar la vuelta con el columpio.
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Mira que ya queda poco para dar la vuelta entera. Por un puto pelo. Venga, 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 yeah.
The day he made up his mind to
Ah,
fly.
toma por culo.
And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
A ver, vamos a ver el libro, a ver si... A ver, cierra el libro. Es que hay que hacerlo con el ratón y a veces no lo hace como debería. Porque no sé muy bien cómo se supone que hay que hacer para...
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Para que nadie entrara en la habitación de su hermano. Calvin murió con 11 años. Es que menuda familia, tío. Menuda familia más crazy, right?
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
¿Esto? A ver. No, a ver. Hay que empujar. ¿Y otra puerta secreta, quizá? Pues sí. Venga. Tira. Ahí. ¿Por qué no? Ah, vale, que este hay que ir para arriba. Joder. La madre del cordero.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Podemos salir por aquí. Supongo que luego podemos volver, ¿no? Ah, esto es la parte de abajo otra vez.
Edie's father Odin built the original house. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Suele pasar.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Porque era famosa, ¿no? A ver. ¿Por aquí habíamos estado? Sí, esta es la de Calvin y Sam.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Vaya. Qué cosas más bonitas se dicen. Gregory.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Ah, el baño rosa chungo aquel. Vale. Sven and Eddie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Vale. Justo. Estaba haciendo un retrato de ella y zasca. Qué curioso. Vale, esto es el cuarto de baño del este, y este ya lo habíamos mirado, ¿no?
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Hombre, si hubiera sido después de 1947 hubiera sido muy inquietante, ¿verdad? Que lo hubiera sido colega después de muerta. ¿Podemos bajar por aquí otra vez? Sí, perfecto. Pues sigamos por aquí. Milton, otro dibujito de Milton. Estamos en la habitación de Barbara Finch.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Parece Shirley Temple, ¿verdad? Con muñequitos y todo, y premios y demás historias. Bueno, por aquí no se puede mirar las mirillas por el otro lado. Unas bragas, eso siempre es bien. Vamos a conocer la historia de Barbara. Aquí hay... parece de una cafetería, ¿no? Un montón de libros.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
¿Después de qué? Después de ser una estrella infantil, me imagino, ¿no? Quiero decir. Dreadful Stories. Protagonizado por Barbara
Of all the
Finch.
stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
No, vamos a ver. Un cómic. Uy, aquí está el viejo calabozo.
Oh, Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
Vale.
But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Tenemos que abrirlo nosotros y darle cuerda.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Ah, así podemos entrar al sótano. Interesante. Vamos a bajar. Uy, uy, uy. Hay sangre ahí. La muleta de Rick.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Toma, hijos de puta. Pumba, pumba, pumba. Estoy dando todo. Da un poco de miedo todo esto.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Cojones, ¿qué es esto, tío? Da miedo que te cagas. Aquí la sierra de Sven, donde se ha cortado. O sea, esta sangre no es de Rick, esta sangre es de Sven, creo. ¿La nevera? ¿Está la escondido en la nevera?
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there?
Uy, el niño.
Okay, I'm coming
El hombre
up.
del gancho.
But if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Con nuestra muleta, armadas con nuestra muleta. Bomba. Adiós, silla huevo. El peor invento de la humanidad. Vamos a golpear el esqueleto ese, que también me da mal rollo. Ah, no se puede. Qué pena. Pues nada, vamos a ver si salvamos a Walter de las garras del terrible. Uy. Hello. Walter.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Uy, 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 uy.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and... He was quite smashing.
Bien hecho. Bárbara.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
¿Tenemos que huir o qué?
Okay, Barbara. There's gotta be another way out of here.
Con todas las pasadizos que hay en esta casa, no me sorprende.
She played her part beautifully.
Vamos a atacarle por la espalda, ¿no? Bien hecho. Por aquí.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow.
Le vamos a dar tuyo. Toma, cabrón.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be
Vamos a
over
reventarle
yet.
la cabeza, va. A este hombre del gancho, por si acaso. Twitter. Oh, ha desaparecido.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Hostia, qué susto. Ay, 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 ¿quién va a ser, tío? ¿Será el hombre del gancho que ha salido de casa para llamar a la puerta después? Tendría mucho sentido.
At the door, she heard whispering.
Ay, ay, ay.
It was coming from inside the house.
Del interior de la... Ay, ay, ay.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, ¿qué pasa?
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Y mira la oreja.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Increíble. Es bastante creepy, pero es alucinante la imaginación para hacer este juego y estas historias, cada una contada de una manera diferente. Es alucinante, tíos. En fin, no sé a vosotros, a mí me está encantando. Espero que, bueno, vamos a dejarlo aquí para que el vídeo no sea mucho más largo. Espero que os esté molando, dadle un like si os está molando, suscribíos si no lo habéis hecho todavía. Y nos vemos en el siguiente vídeo. Adiós.